Hey there, so today we have another review. This is a beer courtesy of Justin. This is the last one of the bunch from Sapwood Cellars. I've never had a stout from Sapwood Cellars, so this is really exciting. So this is ABSW. This is Apple Brandy Stout Walnut, 12.8, so big guy. This is Apple Brandy Imperial Stout. Pours out pitch black. That is so freaking dark. That is Bourbon County dark. Apple Brandy barrels with toasted walnuts. Very interesting. Muscovado sugar as well. And it's actually quite useful because part of Ancestor Rum, actually, I think one of the questions that ends up happening is that they'll ask you about describing a commercial beer, or three commercial beers that use different kind of barrels. They're very easy to do bourbon. There's bourbon barrel, like barley wine, imperial stout, all kinds of stuff. Anything you can think of, but can talk about the other barrels that may be used in beer, wine, brandy, apple brandy, rum, tequila, et cetera, et cetera. So let's see if this is a good example of something that I can write a great essay about. I'll probably have taken the test by the time this video will be posted, so wish me luck. But test is in less than a week, so less than a week. So beer is pitch black, barely a head to speak of. I have it at probably pretty good temperature. Yeah, looks very pretty. I mean, just like filming on the darkness on the edges of the glass. Wow, it smells great. I'd probably have a hair cold. Yeah, probably have a hair cold just a little bit, but I smell mostly Imperial Stout, apple brandy. So we're talking about apple brandy here, which is generally straight brandy or the wine. It's distilled wine, or the byproduct of wine. Apple Brandy, at least how they produce it, Layers is the large company that probably maybe the only one, one of the only ones produced in the U.S. uses a distilled, pretty much distilling apple cider and then adding neutral grain spirit to it. So you're like fortifying it. So that product I think is like above 40%. But anyway, I'm not a huge Apple Brandy guy. So really fun. Definitely a cocktail thing, but what do I get? Maybe a little bit of apple fruitiness, fruity quality, which is quite nice. There's a tame amount of like alcohol that plays into that Imperial Stout. It like has a little offering sweetness. There's probably a good amount of micro-oxidation here that's giving this kind of like umami notes and like tampering down how intense this beer could have been on the freshness when it was fresh. Very nice nose though, like just big, rich. I mean, we're talking about like all the Imperial Stout notes, so like I'm forgetting to tell you guys about them. Like it's dark chocolate, it's coffee, it's cocoa, it's a bittersweet chocolate, it's brownie batter. Well, now maybe not that much. Oh, but now I smell it more. I do get a little bit more spiritus quality, so definitely get some spirit brandy character. Quite nice, yeah. That's really good. So this is a nuanced barrel-aged beer for sure. It doesn't pop like bourbon does. Sometimes bourbon can also even be really smooth, just like how Bourbon County does it, where it's like integrated into the beer. This is smoother than that. Like the sharpness of the barrel is just very tame. It's hard, honestly, to find barrel character in this one. I think the Muscovado sugar maybe offers a little bit of complexity with that caramel, because this mid-range of the beer has roast, dark chocolate, espresso, but then like you get a mid-tone of the caramel, and the base, the specialty malts you're using, like crystal malts and all that stuff. The Muscovado sugar is probably offering a little bit more sweetness and back sweetening it, offering more complexity of their sugar. Toasted walnuts are probably doing a similar character, offering more kind of like Maillard, toasty, again bumping up those mid-range flavors. I think it's a really smart idea. They're not necessarily noticeable. I really have to look for the walnuts on the back end to say it's there. Otherwise, a Muscovado sugar I would not be able to find. And the barrel character, I would say, is just playing with the esters in this beer. I wouldn't think of this as a hugely forward ester beer. Bourbon County I find a little bit forward on ester. It's like all those like rich, like dark cherries and plums and prunes and berry notes, blackberry, blueberry. This one sits light on that. So what you're offering here is like a really nice kind of like stewed apple note. It sort of reflects of like ester qualities I get from British beers. And then the stout here is ridiculous. I mean, we're talking about a chew on. I mean, like, it's sticky. It just does so much Bourbon County-ness to it, but it doesn't have the treatment. It doesn't have the desserty qualities. Bourbon County for me is sharp. It has, or sharp not in a bad way, but like it's distinct, desserty, and has these like bourbony notes. This sits so much like a really tame aged Bourbon County. But it doesn't even have those bourbon flavors with it, right? But it has a really beautiful, silky mouthfeel. It's luscious coating, smacking your lips. What does the apple brandy really add? I don't know, maybe a little bit of tannic quality that plays with the char and the roast on the back end quite nicely. I wouldn't say that this is a beer that's a pure example of like, hey, you're showing me apple brandy, hit me in the face. This is a beer where you have an imperial stout that you've aged and you've blended in all those flavors. I mean, like, I don't know how they masterfully picked out apple brandy, toasted walnuts, and muscovado sugar to make a product where none of those elements really show, but the beer is still excellent, right? Like, I don't care about right now what's labeled, right? Like, the liquid is where we're at. Sometimes the beer shows, hey, here's the barrel treatment and the ingredients. Let me hit you in the face and let me show you what's up. Here it's like full blind. I would, now it really tastes walnuts. Okay, sorry. Let's warm up. It is very walnutty. So I would argue to maybe have it a little chilled because it's a little bit aggressive. Not in a bad way, but it's very walnutty, and walnuts are a very distinct flavor. But it literally, I mean, like sometimes like when you use an ingredient in beer, it like sort of transforms into the product. This literally tastes like I took a bite of like a bag of walnuts and then drank the stout. It's a little bit funky. It's a little bit weird, but I was just complimenting on how they integrated flavors, but it's quite nice. Despite that, see, now it warms up. Now I'm getting apple brandy. Apple brandy, what is it doing here? It's spirituous. So it's not giving this kind of like coconut, vanilla, desserty, char, bourbon flavor. It's more spirit that I'm getting with maybe a little bit of like apple flavor. I don't know. It should be a little fruity, but I feel the roast sort of dominates. The walnuts come in. Quite nice. This is a beer that I probably can do 20 minutes on, but my phone is like under 10%. I can't probably do a 20-minute video for you guys. But, and it's kind of nice temperature right now. So it's going to evolve in the glass, but I will say the barrel character sits a really nice place. The base beer is absolutely ridiculous. The use of muscovado sugar, whatever they, lightly handed on, perfect. And then the walnuts are actually quite noticeable when you warm it up. I'd say cool. This beer is just like a really fantastic barrel aged beer. What this beer does is just pure execution of what I like in barrel aged beer. The mouthfeel is ridiculous. It is like drinking oil, and the roast just sits in different places, and the complexities of the imperial stout qualities, and then like it's 13 but drinks nothing like that, just like Bourbon County. You know, when I saw 13, I was like, oh, this is gonna be like a hard one for me. This is something where if you really want to spend a night and enjoy yourself, you're gonna like this guy, because again, I have no problem having a 500 ml Bourbon County, because like that's something that, you know, just hits so many things that I want in a barrel aged imperial stout, and this does it in a different kind of barrel, but so well executed. I mean, Jesus Christ, this is going to be one of the best barrel aged beers I'm going to have all year. It's going to get a nice solid 98 plus. 90 plus. Until next time, guys. Cheers. That is an insane stout from Sapwood Cellars. Crushing it on mixed fermentation, crushing on IPAs, crushing it on stouts. What is wrong with people? This has got to be one of the, I mean, in my opinion, all right, fine. I don't trade beers. I don't get all the hype stuff. It is what it is. But to my palate, from what I've tried, and limited beers that I've tried, from what you guys can see on the channel, this is easily, in my opinion, one of the best breweries in the country. Get some. What else can I say? Thank you, Justin, for sending this beer, 98 plus. Until next time, guys, cheers.